Are you a vocalist or a songwriter or a bedroom producer? Hey everybody, I'm Andy. I'm a singer with over 20 years of experience giving grit and dedication inside the vocal booth. And I'm here to show singers, artists, songwriters, producers, and dreamers alike that music is not just one path. It's yours to build. As a session singer, I'm passionate about pro quality vocals. So welcome to part 2 of my series on essential gear for recording vocals. Today we're diving into the heart of our setup, the microphone and mic stand. Whether you're cutting demos or laying down vocal tracks, a good mic is key. So let's break it down. Your microphone is going to capture your voice's soul. So let's explore your options, and there are a ton. I'm only going to mention a few, but just know there are so many out there for you to choose from. So there are 2 main types for vocal recording. There are dynamic mics and condenser mics. Dynamic mics are really tough and sturdy. They can survive a lot of drops. And they're really great for loud vocals and untreated rooms by rejecting a lot of background noise. These are 2 examples of what you would consider dynamic microphones. These are the mics you always see artists up on stage when they're doing live performance. The Shure SM7B is a legend. It's been used by a ton of artists. Probably every artist that you listen to has used this at least once and maybe even recorded their entire records using this mic. A similar Shure microphone, the MV7, has another advantage. It can give you USB and XLR capabilities, which is really easy and flexible. Now, condenser mics are super sensitive, and they capture every detail, which is perfect for quiet, treated rooms. A lot of them, if not most of them, need something called phantom power, but I'll touch more on that in the next video. I've recorded with lots of other condenser mics when recording with other people, but here are just some of the mics that I have in my home studio. This mic is called an AKG Perception. It's an oldie. It's actually a 120, which I don't believe they even make anymore, but they do still make AKG Perceptions. And this one is super budget friendly. And I have used this for a ton of my recordings. I think my favorite mic that I use is my Warm Audio over my shoulder. This is my Warm Audio WA251 tube condenser microphone. It is a little more high-end, and it does do what it says. Warm Audio really brings out the warmth in your voice, and it just gives you these really nice, creamy vocals. And I mean it. They're like butter. A mic like an AKG or something similar will run you around $100, and something like a Warm Audio is more in the mid-range, or for some people, it's the low range, but for me, it's a pretty high range. It's around $800. Do the price points make a difference in your overall quality? Yes, I would be lying to you if I said no, they don't. However, it's what you do with your voice and how you handle post-production and editing those vocals to really make something stand out. You may or may not know this information, but I'm going to touch on Billie Eilish and Phineas again because I just really love what they do. When they were recording her first record, first of all, they recorded the whole record in Phineas's bedroom in their childhood home. Not the best treated space. Billie recorded that using a budget-friendly and super popular microphone, Audio-Technica, which again is about $100. So yeah, can certain characteristics and certain specs on those microphones enhance certain things or maybe be limited in other ways? Yeah, but you're the artist, or you're the singer, you're the performer. You are what makes it great. So now let's talk about an option for absolutely everybody. Plug and play. Microphones like this Apogee mic connects directly to your computer. And that budget-friendly mic I was just talking about that Billie Eilish used, yeah, they also have a USB option. If you really want to get into regularly recording vocals and maybe doing more with recording, I would say aim between the price point of $100 to $400 for quality. Look for a cardioid polar pattern to really focus on your voice. A cardioid polar pattern is really sensitive coming from the front, with less noise coming through on the sides and really reducing it in the back. What does that mean? You're standing with your microphone. You're going to get a lot of clear, focused sound from here and a lot of reduced background noise behind you. That's what you want, right? So it's going to provide really great isolation and giving your vocals that clarity that you're really looking for, that clarity that you want when you're working with producers. Truthfully, any one of these that I showed you are really great for starting out. Any of these picks outside of the Warm Audio would be considered budget friendly. If you really want to start with one that packs a punch, I would say go with the Shure MV7 because it gives you all of the things that you would get in the SM7B, but it has the USB option. I spent a lot of time recording with all of these microphones that I treated myself to a little more of an expensive one and one that had a vintage sound that I was really looking for. Also know that each one of these mics has a different sweet spot or a frequency where it really shines. Frequencies are like colors in your voice, and we often refer to these as lows, mids, and highs. Lows add depth, mids add clarity, and highs add a little sprinkle and sparkle. Here are how these microphones perform and who they suit. The Shure SM7B boosts a lot of mids, which will give you more of a punchy, clear vocal. It's warm, so it's going to feel rich. Your voice is going to feel present and rich, and it smooths out a lot of harshness. It's really great for deep voices. In fact, if you think about if you're listening to a lot of podcasts and there's male voices, a lot of them usually use those Shures because it just brings out this clarity in the darker and deeper tones in their voice. Really great for rock belters, and it's really great for pop singers. The MB7 is very similar to the SM7B, but it highlights the highs a little bit more. So it would be great for pop singers, R&B singers, those smooth vocals. Microphones like AKGs and Audio-Technicas also boost the mids, which is really great for high and airy vocals. It's very bright, it's very lively, it's very clear. So it's ideal for acoustic, indie, and folk singers, and anyone who wants to sing like Billie Eilish. The warm audio boosts those lows and those mids. So this is giving you a warm, vintage, almost like an old jazz record style type vocal, but it's still very present and very clear. It just cuts the brightness. So this mic is really, really good for your balladeers, for your Adeles, for your smoky voices, because the end result is this just beautiful richness. And the Apogee USB is pretty balanced across the mids. And Apogee, I know, is a really good company that really helps the beginner. So it's really well suited for all voices. And this mic would be really great to bring with you. It's very mobile. It would be really great for just putting together demos. Really, really beginner friendly. And remember, your voice has something unique. So when you're looking for these microphones and you're looking at the specs, because I always recommend that you do that, look at some of the buzzwords that are used. They might use words like bright, crisp, vintage, warm, dark. Look for those words. Search your voice. What kind of qualities do you pull out of your voice? Do you think your voice would be compatible with a microphone that gives you bright, high-end vocals? Well, maybe you have some tinniness in your voice and you really don't want that to be highlighted, but you want more of your mids and your deeper tones to come out. So that's something to learn along the way, but I just want to drop that little seed in because it is something as you go along that you're going to want to know. So choose a mic that matches your voice's vibe. Go test out these mics and test them in a quiet space and really listen to pick out what microphone is flattering the tone of your voice. I've tested out quite a few mics and actually found from engineers and producers I was working with that my voice actually likes the more inexpensive microphones. I did a demo sing on a microphone that a pretty big person in the music industry sang on. Was one of the signature mics that he used.
Wow.
And my voice sounded terrible on it. And then when I sang on a more inexpensive mic compared to this very expensive microphone, my voice sounded a lot better. And so just because there's a big price tag on that mic does not mean that it's the microphone that's going to bring out the best in your vocal. So now I just want to briefly touch on microphone stands. You can hold your mic in your hand when you're recording, absolutely, but you might get a little vibration. You will get that noise, especially if you're dealing with a condenser mic, because they pick up everything. So you can get a floor stand, or you can get a desk stand, which is really nice. Desktop stands go for about 15 bucks. Floor stands go for about 30. Just make sure that your stand is going to fit the weight of your microphone, and also that it's going to be tall enough to work for your height. I'm a shorty, but some people are 7 feet tall. So just make sure that you have that range. Another tip that I can't go on in this video without mentioning is a pop filter. This little baby right here. These are about 10 bucks, and they really just help to soften those plosives, those p and the b sounds, any harsh consonants really. It really does make that big of a difference. The Shure microphones, you don't need the pop filter because they already come filtered. Here's another easy tip just to keep in mind: the distance of you and your microphone. So you've got your mic, you've got your microphone stand. Now you're going to position yourself. For most vocals, you're going to want to distance yourself about 6 to 8 inches away, keeping your microphone even with your mouth. If you're doing close vocals, feel free to get up on that mic. Don't be afraid, but understand the dynamic from what you're putting out in your diaphragm into this very, very highly sensitive microphone. So make sure you listen back. Make sure you stand at different distances each time you record. So maybe you're going to get about 3 inches when you're doing soft, breathy vocals. Maybe you're going to do about 6-7 inches when you're just giving your average vocal. And when you're belting, honey, you are going to back that up because we don't want anything clipping while you're recording. That's no good. That's how we get distortion, and that's how everything sounds crazy. And when we're recording in our DAW, our digital audio workstation, which we covered in the last video, so if you haven't watched that yet, finish this one and then go back and watch that one. We're going to watch the volume and we're going to watch the gain so that we can avoid the clipping I was just talking about. I'm going to watch the input meter. If the meter hits red, I lower the gain on the mic, or in Logic until it's green or yellow. That's how I know I'm safe. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sing maybe a soft part of the song. Wherever my dynamics are, I'm going to try different dynamics. So if I have a swell in the song where my vocals are going to get bigger, I'm definitely going to check that out. I'm going to sound check that to make sure that if that's the highest part, the loudest part that I sing, I'm not getting that red. I still want to be in the green. Bonus tip, treat your room to get the best out of your mic's performance. You can hang blankets. You can record in a closet to cut the echo. Put a rug down around you, maybe some pillows. Just do something simple. You don't have to go crazy. Just think, how can I absorb the sound of the room that I'm in? And get creative. So that's your mic guide. Let me know which microphone you've either used or are intrigued by. Share your favorite mic in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. And look out for part 3, the next video of this series where I talk about the audio interface. Thanks for being here. I'll see you soon.